Okay, now we're going to go back to formations again, to alignments rather, and we're going to look at how we can use all those alignments we just talked about to get into some really, really interesting formations. All right. Again, just quickly talking about what we did before, and we know that the first call is for our receivers, and then everything after that is for that H-back fullback guy. All right, so let's take a look, and hopefully you'll remember that this is a rip near. We've got our Y. That's not a great Y, but that's a Y, our Z, and our X. Okay? So that Y, that tight end, he's right. And he's inside position. So that's a rip. Okay? Here's our fullback. He's on the same side as the tight end. So that's a rip near. Okay? That's a rip near. Okay? Now, very simply, we want to change this look. We want to go and get a look with our Z out here. That's now a rip over, because we call all the receiver stuff first. Rip over. And we're still in a near. Alright? Well, how about we want to be in a rip over, but we want to take this fullback guy, and we've got an H-back in the game, or it could be a fullback, and we want him out here. Well, this is now a rip over, and now he's at the wing. Okay? So we're always going to call the receivers first. Then we're going to go and we're going to call that H-back fullback guy. Now let's look at this. Here we've got rip over wing. All right, let's make him an H-back. But let's say that we wanted to do something. We wanted to get a quicker receiver here. Now you look at that picture, and this is the beauty of this. That picture, defensive coordinators or defensive play callers, linebackers, people that are making calls over on the defensive side, have to be able to recognize some things very, very fast with this, because we can put people wherever we want them. So let's change this. Let's change this. All right? Let's make this the Z now. And now we make that the H. Okay? That's that guy now. Well, this is no longer a rip over wing. This is now a rip. Remember when we bring him in, that's a rip close. And he's out here in a split. Now, if you take away all these markings, well then it looks the same. A rip over wing looks exactly like a rip close split, but we have two completely different players at two positions. All right, we have changed them tremendously. And I think that's the beauty of this. Without getting into motions and checks and those kind of things yet, the beauty of all of this is that in fact you can hide what you're doing, and you put so much pressure on a defense to locate players. All right, now let's just take a look at some 1x3s, some 2x2s, and some 3x1 formations. Okay, here we go. There is, in fact, one of our most common 3x1 formations. What do we mean by a 3x1? Well, we take the midline. We've got 1, 2, 3 receivers to one side. We've got 1 receiver to the other side. So for us, that's a 3x1. Okay? That's a 3x1 as we look at it from our side. All right? Now we can go and get another look. Another 3x1. let's go back and look at this. You know, what is this? Well, this is a rip over, all right, rip over. Rip over, there's the Z. Here's the fullback, rip over far. Rip over far. Okay? There you go. Rip over far. Well, maybe you want to get more of a trips look. Now it's a rip over slot. Okay, so there's two 3-by-1 formations we could use. Want to change the look a little bit? Let's open that tight end up. Maybe you got a guy that you can open up and you're going to get great matchup out here. You know, you force, and this is, I'll show you this later when we do some shifting and motion. This is a great way, an absolutely great way to catch a mismatch. You know, they're going to bring, some people will bring a corner over here to match up. Open him up, and now a safety's got to play out here. Or they'll just invert their safety, and now you've got a corner out here, a smallish corner against a big tight end. If you got a tight end who can run, you got a great mismatch right here. All right, with a corner, with corner size and a big tight end out here who can run, you've got a great matchup there. Okay, so now let's take a look at some 2-by-2 stuff. And 2-by-2s, you know, you're pretty much going to get people, there's the most typical 2-by-2. You're pretty much going to get people playing you with a 2 high, and that's great. All right, that's fine. Now, what are some other 2-by-2s? And we do a lot of this. All right, here's a rip slot. Rip slot. That's one of the most common ways we get into that. Let's look at some 1-by-3s. All right, here's a rip near. Love this. When we want to get people out of a 2 high, and we want that strong safety to get up in here, we want to be able to get to that look, right? We want to get to that look. We get him out here in a wide, so now we've got a rip wide, and we've got that H out here. We'll even put, we may not even bring him that far. We may just put him in a rip wing, okay, to force this guy to come up. Now we get that out here, and now we're in a great position to do some stuff if we want to do it over here. We're in control, and it's so simple in this formation. You know, I've heard guys, and I said to guys, you know, can you get into this formation? And they said, well, no, we don't have anything that puts our H over there or puts our wing over, puts our fullback in that position. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame, because you're taking away something that can help you win a football game because you're locked into alignments that won't let you do that. Okay, so there you go. Again, just before we wrap this up, let's take a quick look. And here's the complete opposite. That would be a Liz, because he's over here on the left. Okay, that would be a Liz. And again, he is away from the tight end, so that would be a Liz far. Now your X is away, your Z is with him, and there it is over to your left side with a Liz far. So simple and so multiple that the only thing that stops you from doing things with this is a lack of creation. If you want to be creative, and later on we'll talk about motions and things like that, and you can do anything you want to do and put yourselves in a great advantage over the defense.